quick story today because we got call up tomorrow. We got to get up early. So, yeah. Now, yesterday, I goofed up. So, today we're going to do reverse style. Let's see, today is, what day is it? Thursday. So, that means it would have been CJ's game. So, it's Leo's story. It is Leo's story, but CJ is going to name the story and CJ is going to turn off the story, turn off the phone. Everybody get it? Okay. Because yesterday you named the story and turned off the phone, Leo. But today is your story, so tell me characters and setting.
And tomorrow I'll turn off.
Yeah, tomorrow will be back to normal. Yeah. So that means Leo got 2 times in a row of naming the story and turning off the phone, and also did CJ. So everything is 100% fair.
So,
Leo, what is your story?
Okay, so my story is gonna be. Let me think. Elvie and the Siege going to Meep City. You can make it up.
Okay. Once upon a time, Elvie and the Siege woke up and they decided to go to Meep City. And they got on their horses after eating breakfast and just rode and went to Meep City. And there was a lot of interesting things there. They remembered that one time they were like King Kong and they broke the whole Meep City down. Another time they had a race and they had to race from the cops. They went to jail a couple times at Meep City. And they also had their own pizzeria. But they've been to the scary forest where bad guys tried to get them, and they made friends with those bad guys. Right next door to the forest was Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria and Candy's hamburger area. And they've been to a lot of different places, and the information lady was there. They'd ridden a subway that destroys quite often, and they even went up a mountain, I think, to a museum one time. Lots of different things they'd done at Meep City. And so the Siege turned to Elvie and said, Elvie, how about we just sit on a park bench and see what happens? Elvie said, that sounds like a nice relaxing idea. So they went to the park and they remembered when they turned into little kids and then little kids and then little kids until they were like as small as an atom. And then they grew back giant. And that was the time, in fact, where they destroyed most of Meep City. But nobody remembered that anymore. And they sat down on the bench next to that place. And they just sighed and watched a butterfly fly by. And Elvie said, this is super boring. And the Siege said, I know. Isn't it great? And Elvie was like, yeah, don't do that, Siege. What are you doing? You wrecking the story?
No, I'm scratching my lip.
Okay, it's distracting, and it wrecks the story.
Okay.
I mean, what if you're like reading a book, and then in the middle of the book, it's like, Dad, what kind of book are you writing? Well, why would the author write that down? But anyway, back to the story. Please lay straight, under the blankets. Lay on your backs. Yeah, good little boys. And they sat on the bench, and Elvie said, this is really boring. And the Siege said, yeah, isn't it great? And Elvie said, yeah, this is just what I needed. Just then, a little boy rode by on a bicycle. Ching, ching. Oh, that's nice, said the Siege. And they saw some old people walking down the sidewalk around the park. Just then, a huge monster burst through the ground, and he was as big as a house, and he had huge green claws, and he was like a lizard, but he had wings, and he was kind of like a walking dragon, like rah, 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 rah. And Elvie said, oh, it's a dragon. And the Siege said, isn't he cute? I really like enjoying myself on this bench. And the dragon was like, his tail was like smashing trees and stuff, and instantly helicopters came over from the Roblox shoot the planes and boats game, And they were like, there he is, we see him, open fire. And instantly they launched some rockets. And they blew him up and shot all sorts of bullets at him. And then he exploded into 1,000 particles. And Elvie said, that looks pretty. And the Siege said, I like how all the different colors of the particles kind of make it look so nice. And then out of the big hole came another creature. He was like a huge snake, and he was like, and he came out of the hole, and he was like, bleh. And it was so yucky because when the last part of the snake came out, it was another snake on the end of the snake. It was a two-headed snake. It was so yucky, I can't even believe it. And he was like, nah, nah. And he started eating some little me's and stuff and their little pets. Chomp, 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 chomp. And then the two-headed snake coiled around a building and started slithering up the building. And they called in some guys that had some nuclear bombs, and they blew up the building. And all the snake exploded into 1,000,000 parts. And Elvie said, it's kind of peaceful when those buildings just slowly fall and all the parts bounce off each other. And the Siege said, yeah, it's like it's in slow motion, just kind of going towards the ground. And then the whole building went, and people were yelling and screaming and running and flailing. And then all of a sudden, a third monster came up out of the pit. It was a huge gorilla. It was kind of like King Kong. It was exactly like King Kong. And he started taking cars and throwing them through buildings and stuff. And he took 2 cars and smashed them together like a musical instrument. Ching, 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 ching. And he could run really fast, and he's like smashing into windows and breaking the roads and everything. And then they heard brrr, and Elvie and the Siege looked, and off in the distance there was a huge robot as big as a building. And Elvie said, oh, that's a nice looking robot. And the Siege said, yeah, it's just nice to sit on the bench for a while and not have to do anything crazy. Just watch the world go by. And the robot ignited its boots and took off into the sky and came landing right by the big giant King Kong. And King Kong was like, rrr, 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 and punched him right in the chest. But the robot grabbed King Kong's arm and twisted it. Rrr, and King Kong fell onto his back. But King Kong was really quick, and he jumped back onto his feet and went whoop-bang, 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 about 100 times right into the face of the robot. But the robot's face was not where his brain was. The robot's brain was deep inside the robot, because it was a robot. But there was some scientists in there, and they were like, wow, this monkey's really tough. Let's ignite him on fire. And they took out a huge flamethrower and went, but King Kong dropped on the ground and rolled around in the park and put out the flames that were trying to burn his fur. And he got back up and took one of the arms and put his feet right on the chest and pulled the robot arm off. Then he beat the robot with his own arm. But the robot fell down, and King Kong pounded his chest like he won. But right in that moment, when he was looking up into the sky and going, rrr, 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 the robot scissor kicked him right under the ankles, and he fell onto his back. And then the robot took its arm and attached it onto King Kong's arm. And the King Kong could not get rid of the robot's other arm. Then the robot ignited his boots and went right towards the hole, and went down in there and exploded, and a huge fireball came out of the big hole in the ground. And Elvie said, that's a beautiful fireball. The Siege said, I like how it just kind of rolls up into the sky. And Elvie said, well, are you ready to go? And the Siege said, yeah. You know, Elvie, it was really nice not having to do anything crazy at Roblox, Meep City. Just to sit on a bench with my friend and watch the world go by. And Elvie said, you said it. They got on their horses and went home and told Jet Spice all about it. The end.
Awesome story, Dad.
Okay, CJ is going to name the story and turn off the phone.
Elvie and Siege are just sitting on a bench and watching a battle and doing nothing.
No, that's too long. Elvie and the Siege on a bench.
Elvie and the Siege doing nothing on a bench.
Great.